a long 7-mile hike, but it's downhill most of the way. Downhill metaphorically speaking too, because that's where the thoughts and emotions of the couple were as they were heading on their way home to Emmaus. The events of Easter weekend really had been too much for them to cope with. They were still struggling to come to terms with the tragic loss of their leader. Their master's body was still missing. What's going to happen now to them and the close group of Jesus followers? Best to go back to the safety of their home, go into lockdown there, hope that the crisis would pass them by, keep their heads down for their own self-preservation. Avoid any troubles with the authorities, do what they're told, and quietly grieve and think things through, away from the frantic unrest and uncertainty of that dangerous big city they have just left behind. What's going to happen next? What does the future hold? How will we survive? Are we going to be able to come through unscathed? On the way, they find answers to their questions. An apparent stranger helps them make sense of what they've been living through. They find out too that they have not lost their practice of the holy habit of hospitality. They invite their walking companion into their home to share what food they have, and their generosity rewards them. There at the meal table, they're confronted with the reality of the resurrection. Their sadness is turned to joy. In the breaking of bread, they become part of the shared history of the celebration of the resurrection. The significance of what Jesus does is not lost on us too, as we recall the Last Supper with Jesus in an upper room in Jerusalem. Those words to always remember. This is my body broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Jesus breaks bread with them. Their faith is renewed. Break bread. Share your food with others. Then you too will be empowered by God in a moment of common union at a meal table. This meal and all future meals will remind them and us of what Jesus has said and done, and of what we must now do. Tell others, live worthy lives, honour all that Jesus has done and stands for. So Cleopas and co. have not been entertaining an angel or a messenger in disguise after all. Instead, Jesus has been with them. He's opened their minds to all he can do in their lives. They've become part of our story of faith. Now, every mealtime can be a time to bless food and be blessed by God's presence, especially in these days when we may be alone, isolated and feeling distressed, anxious and unsure of what lies ahead. The saying of what we often call grace at the table, the prayer before we eat our food, can take on a new significance. A reminder that because of God's grace, because of God's unconditional love for us, revealed in Jesus, in his life, death and resurrection, because of that, we are not alone, even in lockdowns, even in this crisis in our world and in our daily lives. Jesus can walk with us, can sit with us at our tables. Jesus can open our minds and hearts to that living hope that he embodies. We will be blessed. We will bless others too. Jesus is with us. We need to recognize him, hear what he's saying to us in our day. Because Jesus has walked with us and sat at table with us, we need never be the same again. This world too should never be the same again after this crisis. For the resurrection message of hope that became real for two people on the way to Emmaus comes to us afresh today to challenge us again. For the time is coming when we will go out and tell others face to face that we've been with Jesus. The time to challenge those in the big city that there's a better way for our world than that of the chaos, competition, conflict, and all the cruelty of the past. Instead, a way of justice, love, and peace, where selfishness and divisions are overcome by generous hospitality and care for all our neighbours, and a gracious sharing of God's love for all people, where the living bread broken at our tables is there for all to share. God bless us. God bless you.
Thank you.